Hello everyone, it's Steve. I'm back. So a little update on what's going on. My brother's doing fine. He's still recovering from all his injuries, but I think it looks like no permanent damage is going to happen. Um, and I got my phone. I got a new phone. I spent several hours, getting all my work stuff and all the security stuff back on it, and applied to sent the fees off to get all my IDs replaced, and got the credit cards replaced, and finally got caught up with my day job. And so I'm back, and I'm feeling much better. And most of you guys were so kind and left great comments, and I was really touched by all of them. A lot of you guys bought me coffee, and one of you guys even like referred me to their therapist. And I was actually very touched by all the outreach from the community. Except for this one guy. This guy, I don't know who he is, but wow, you are a piece of work. Um, Claiming that I was making this stuff up to try to stop doing this. Okay, number one, um, I'm not trying to make some excuse to stop doing this. I love doing this. This is my hobby. It's fun, and I like keeping up on what Aptera is up to and what other companies are up to, and just having this platform and community has been way more fun than I expected it to be. So, anyways, um, I'm doing much better. My brother's doing much better. We're Things are kind of getting back to normal, and I wanted to thank all you guys for your kind words and reaching out and everything else. Okay, so let's what has Aptera been up to in the past week? All right, so the priority delivery slots are down to 379, and back when it started, so this was in kind of late April, I put up a poll on our Discord channel, and I said, when will the party slots fill up? Okay, so a few very optimistic people thought that it was going to, all 1,000 priority slots were going to fill up before May 15th. And then a few more very optimistic people thought it would be by the end of May. And then I think the kind of more pragmatically optimistic people voted in June, that by the end of June, and that's kind of what I voted for too. And that looks like that's not happening because we are about a week till the end of June, and I don't think 379 slots are going to fill up, at least unless something very unusual happens by the end of June. And then four people voted in July, and I think this is where we're going to end up. I think it's going to close out in July. And then some pessimistic people thought in August or afterward, and one curmudgeon thought that it would never ever fill up. Um, and so, yeah, Milton was saying July 4th. I think that's probably a little optimistic. Kamakuri was Cinco de Mayo. That was highly optimistic, but we were all hoping that he was right. Um, but anyways, that's what we thought in April. What was going to happen with this thing, and um, let's see, three wheels are enough on the Discord channel. He put together this really cool spreadsheet, and it has a running 7-day average of the number of slots that are filled per day. So at the beginning, we were in the mid-teens for a while. And then you can see that it's tapering off. So what usually you see is you see kind of initial high interest, then it tapers off, and then usually towards the end of something, there's some FOMO happening, and it ramps up. But so far, that does not look like it's the case because lately these 7-day running average is running about four slots per day, down from mid-teens per day. So it's a drop. It's down to 33%, or a third of what it was initially at the beginning. So that's where we are in the funding situation. And this is something that I was wanting to talk to Chris Anthony about, and I do plan on setting up that interview with him. Chris was very kind and reached out to me via email after the video, and also had some very kind words. Um, And so I hope to do that. I'm thinking I'm going to do the interview after this upcoming monthly update because perhaps there's some more questions that'll be brought up by the monthly update. If you guys have some questions that you'd like me to ask him, let me know in the comments below. I think that they are very limited on the types of questions they can answer. They sent me, I guess there's these rules that because they're trying to, I think their plan is to go IPO fairly soon. Their plan is because they plan on going IPO very soon. The rules are that if you're a public company, you cannot dispense information to a person that would not be available to the whole public. So any like information about like production timelines and things like that that would be materially important for them needs to be released through their official channels, so their website or their press releases, and not during interviews with a third party such as myself. So I think there are questions of that type, like production timeline and other things that are kind of materially important to their business. I don't think that they're going to be allowed to answer specifically, but I do want to talk to them about their funding plan and what they think about, what their thought process on that is, and some things about the road trip and other various things. Questions about their about the transmission they're testing out and things like that. Anyways, so I'm thinking right now that I will plan that interview for after the monthly update. So that's what I'm going on. That's kind of the current plan right now. So on their Instagram channel, you see this, I believe, is Artemis being built for the road trip. And so they are planning on doing that soon. So I think they have maybe a month or two to get that ready. And that's something that I kind of want to ask them about too. Like, what is the timeline for Artemis being done? I do want to go down there and check it out myself once that's done, because that would be kind of like the first true PI vehicle with like everything ready to go. And then this is the thing that was most interesting to me. So here it's a picture of the Aptera solar modules for Polydrops. And when they teased this earlier, I suspected that it was for Polydrops, not for Averest. Averest is the company that they were testing out Aptera Solar for a lot of their airport operations, the little vehicles that run around and maybe act as tugs or move the luggage around or something like that. So that would be a very, very big order if Averest was to go with Aptera Solar. And I don't know that Aptera has the production capacity to put out that number of panels. I think this Polydrops, when I first heard about this Polydrops thing, I didn't investigate it that fully, and I just assumed that Polydrops was another startup that was trying to raise money to get into production and things like that. I was wrong. I've kind of looked into them, and they have been around since 2019, and they have been producing and selling trailers since 2019. As of like 2022, they had sold like close to 100 trailers. So it's not huge volume. They're a boutique manufacturer. So here's their website. If you go, and so they've been selling the P19 and the K20, their previous models, and this P21, which is the one you're seeing now. That's one that they've only recently started selling, and those are the panels that Aptera is saying, see, for their P21 trailers. Those are the ones that their Aptera is producing these panels for. And so they have started deliveries of this trailer, and they've been delivering trailers for the past 6 years. So they're not a high volume company. They're a production I think they hand build each kind of custom, and they are, I believe, a solvent company that's self-sustaining by selling these things. These things are, if you look at them, they're like almost 40 grand. So they're not cheap, but they're very, very cool. They look very nice, very high quality, and there is an entire like Reddit group of their customers, and they show themselves out camping with them, and people seem to enjoy them and really like the trailer. So I believe that it seems like it's a very very good product, and they really like the customers really like the founders of Polydrops. They feel like they're really good people, and they are invested in making a good product and supporting their customers. The company, so I looked in their story and it was very interesting. It's actually started by two South Koreans, people that came over to America as students for architecture students, and then they started this in 2016, and then in 2019, that's when they kind of started it as a business and started selling products. So these are the founders. The founders' names are Kyunghyun and his wife Jiun, and obviously this is their child in this picture. So I've actually reached out to Polydrops. I'd really love to hear their story and have them talk about their company and talk about how they found out about Aptera and decided to go with Aptera Solar. So I've reached out to them. Hopefully they'll get back to me. We'll have an interview that'll be on this channel. But if you go to Polydrops Instagram channel, you can see here like this is one of their customers drove all the way from Illinois to pick up the Polydrops P21, and that this was back in January, so this was not their first delivery, but so they've been delivering these P21 since January. And if you look here, you can see like which one of these had a really nice close-up that showed the Aptera Solar. I think this was it. Yeah, you see here their solar panels are producing more than the AC is making. Yeah, which one was it? One of these had a really good shot of where it says Aptera Solar. It was really cool. Try to find it. Oh yeah, here you go. Yeah, you can see here, and it says right here Aptera Solar. This was back in August of 2024. So they've been, working. I think that's around the same time that Aptera announced that they were working with Polydrops. So as it turns out, Polydrops is not a startup company that's just raising money and hasn't delivered a product yet. That was kind of the case with Alafe. Alafe was another startup, and they really are not profitable yet. And Polydrops is seemingly a profitable company that's self-sustaining with the sales of their product. They don't need further investment to continue what they're doing. I mean, perhaps if they with bigger investment, they could go into volume production and make bigger factories, but they are hand building these things and selling them. And so that means that they are most likely paying Aptera for their solar panels. So this collaboration where Aptera is selling these solar panels to Polydrops, I thought was initially kind of a just good marketing and good PR. And Aptera was maybe not making any money off of this. Perhaps they were just, it was a wash for them. But now, after seeing that Polydrops is actually a revenue generating company, I believe Aptera is generating revenue with these solar panels. Now, it's not going to be a lot. They're probably, my guess is that Polydrops sells maybe a hand, 20 to 50 a year of these. That's a ballpark I'm thinking. When I get an interview with them, I'm going to ask them how many they're selling. But that's kind of the ballpark. And so, if Aptera is selling 20 to 50 sets of solar panels, I mean, that's not going to be enough to make them a solvent company just on revenue from selling modules to Polydrops. But it does mean Aptera has a product that they are selling and generating revenue from. So that's definitely a plus. So I think that's great. if they, I don't know that like getting an order from Avers would be a good thing because I don't think that their solar panel production line has the capacity to do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like they can probably produce like a few panels a day, few sets of panels a day. And if Avers were to say, hey, we need like 2,000 panels or 20,000 panels, I like that. I don't think Aptera has the manpower, the space, or the equipment to deliver that volume. I'm not sure. Maybe they do, and that's one of the questions I'm going to ask Chris Anthony when I talk to him. But bottom line, Polydrops, super cool company. They make this teardrop look. It's a teardrop trailer, but it's a different type of teardrop trailer because it's very narrow. Instead of most of the teardrops are like still wide, but they have a taper towards the end. This is a different one, and they used a CFD, and it is extremely aerodynamic. And I believe that's why they kind of hooked up with Aptera. I don't know if Aptera reached out to them or they reached out to Aptera, but they are in the whole let's be super aerodynamic, super efficient. That's the ethos of both of their companies. Polydrops went with the strategy that I think many of you guys wanted Aptera to do, which is to hand build, um, hand build and start low. I think the difference is that teardrop trailers have always been kind of a niche market, and most teardrop manufacturers work as kind of a boutique manufacturer and hand build them slowly, and that's the business model that works in that space because I think they have higher margins. Like you're paying $40,000 for a trailer, and people are willing to pay that. But I think most vehicle manufacturing works better at high scale, and Aptera decided to go with that, and that may or may not have been a good decision. I don't know, but that's the decision that they made. And Polydrops is a functional company at this point, and I am almost positive they are paying Aptera money, and Aptera is making money by selling these solar panels to these people to this company. So, anyways, hopefully I get an interview with their founders. I would love to hear their story. And I think the whole story is fascinating, and I think their trailers look cool, and I love the ethos of their trailers. Their ethos is let's be efficient, let's insulate it. Most teardrop trailers are not insulated, so they require a lot of energy to heat and cool. This one is insulated well. It takes very little energy to heat and cool. They have a relatively small battery pack and are working solar. So a lot of parallels. Love this company. Hopefully I interview them, and then maybe if I have time, they're in Glendora. I believe they're based out of Glendora, and I could definitely make some time to go visit them, and I think that would be kind of fun too. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks again for all your kind words and for your support when I was going through this thing. Yeah, I just realized so much of our safety is based on like the morality of people around us. These guys that came and mugged us easily could have killed us. Would have been so easy to kill us. They could have just stabbed us in the back or stabbed us at any time during the altercation, but they chose not to, and for that reason, we are alive. But it would have been very easy for them to do so. So I'm very grateful that the outcome is how it was. And yeah, again, thank you guys very much. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and be safe out there.